Hey everyone, the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notifications down below if you haven't already. Good morning, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. I am Kevin, your host. Behind me, as usual, the beautiful wagon wheel, and hopefully still a little wisdom up here. I wanted to talk to you guys this morning about a great day yesterday. As I had said in one of my previous videos, I had done a fast and I did 48 hours, so 2 days worth of no food intake, and what an incredible feeling it was, just on how it reset the body. I'm not into the physics behind it or the science behind it too much. I just can recognize a massive shift and change in my body, and all I can say is I highly recommend it. Again, consult your doctor. Don't listen to me on how to do it. You need to come up with a plan, because it is a health issue in many ways when you're doing this, and you need to, I suppose, be on your game in some aspect if you've never done it before, but have always wanted to try it. So it's one of those things that I take very seriously, because it is a serious thing. You're depriving yourself of food. If you've never done that before, it's incredibly interesting, to say the least, but wow, how rewarding. It's just like my mind, my body, my soul has been reset. The looping thoughts are far less, and by far less I mean like the severity of it, the duration as to how long they last, the peaks and valleys that I've spoke of in previous videos seem to be much smoother ride. I'm able to, if I get into a looping moment, release with less resistance at this point in time, and the overall surrendering aspect to those negative emotions is just, it's been a great journey so far. I feel refreshed, invigorated. There's a sense of joy, of just being content, being in the moment, all things that we're striving to do on this journey to better ourselves. And I just want to be clear, we are here to better us and ourselves, and the hardest part, and I'd imagine people immediately don't want to hear this and will shut the video off, but this journey, as I'm discovering, isn't about getting anybody back. It's about discovering you all over again. But at the same token, in the back of my mind, I have that hope of someday this beautiful reunion will go down. And I wanted to share a little bit about that, about an experience that I'm also having that maybe will help facilitate it, that's to some degree, but I don't want to imply false hope. I'm kind of a hopeless romantic in a way, and if the best version of me shows up and the best version of her, it'd be beautiful. This twin flame journey that we're on is all about that in some aspect, but at the same time, we need to be very realistic that all of the pain and suffering that we're feeling inside of us, this has to be changed. And I want to talk about something that has really changed inside of me. In previous videos, I had mentioned how signs and synchronicities have shown up on this path since this has happened. I'm 4 months into this. Again, I'm still a baby, an infant, if you will, on this journey, and learning every single day about new things that are coming along. And I'm really being a lot more open to these synchronicities as they're being dropped on my path. And as I've said in a video earlier, that I'm coaching football, my son's football team, where I'm an assistant coach. They are fifth graders, and the long and short of it is the team itself comes from rough upbringing. Kids that have been through some very abusive households, and they come to football as an escape from, I suppose, reality in a way. Kind of not unlike what we're going through in a way. Only their abuse is external. Our abuse is very kind of internal at this moment in time. But what we try to do is seek escapes to help kind of calm the mind down and get us away from the constant abuse that we're doing up here. But what I wanted to talk about was something I've hinted on in other videos, and that is celebrating those little victories that we might miss during the day because of the missing and longing for our partner, the loneliness that we're feeling. Again, all very real, all very painful feelings. But I had a big victory yesterday. The coach called me after our game, and Well, we lost 38 zip. And the one thing I noticed is that, I'm going to humbly admit this, that this is something that I noticed it with the team because I noticed it within me, and that is how easily they get down on themselves because of one mistake, and how that snowballs into an attitude of almost giving up. And I noticed that yesterday when a couple of the kids, even on just one play, made a bad mistake, or not a bad mistake, they just made a mistake. They didn't do what we have taught them. They knew it. Tears started coming out, their frustration, but at the same time, they don't really want to listen to us coach them in that moment because they are really, in a way, I guess, just losing their shit. And it was tough to watch unfold as it is because these kids are in 5th grade, and I'm sitting there wondering, it's like, wow, look at the pressure they're putting on themselves. And so after the game, the main coach, the head coach, called me, and we had talked about some things to work on. There was a moment yesterday too when one of the other coaches really kind of scolded one of the kids in front of everybody, and the main coach checked him on that. Much needed to, because again, these kids take a lot of abuse emotionally, sadly sometimes physically, and we are supposed to be the leaders for them, where we are hugging and embracing them versus scolding them because they are, literally coming our direction for this escape. So he checked him on that, and we had talked about that on the phone call, and he goes to me, he goes, we as coaches, and I want you to keep something in mind. My son is one of 3 white kids on this team, and throughout the organization, there's probably 120, 125 kids total, urban kids, all different races, but my son and a few others are the only white kids on this team, which I don't care about. Doesn't matter to me whatsoever. It's still a beautiful thing to be able to coach. So he had talked to me earlier in the season about, talking about how underprivileged the kids are, the abuse and things that go on, and I just kind of nodded like in agreement, and he told me about that yesterday. He goes, you really didn't know what to expect? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And he goes, I and the other coaches are amazed, and he goes, we are literally amazed at the response that the kids are having with you and to you, and how much they love you, and basically they're taking to me, when at first there was resistance, like, who is this new guy, what is he doing here? I know he's a father helping coach, but there was no bond yet, so to speak. But as I sat there and thought about this for a little while yesterday, and it brought me to tears thinking about that because of the joy that I'm having doing this. But I had said the synchronicities come along, and the angels sort of drop things on your path to help you. And if you look deeper into it, the deep metaphors that exist within these, my inner coaching inside of here is as much mirroring my external coaching. Throughout this process, you guys, we have to be humble. We have to be kind with ourselves. We have to take and coach ourselves in a manner that we would want to be coached by somebody else. These negative thoughts, the fear, the anger, the resentment, all very low vibrational things, all have to be pushed aside. And sitting in those moments with, as much as you can, joy, happiness, enjoying yourself, enjoying your own company, wanting to do the work, and willingness to shift your mindset from that negative over into that positive side, where you're really just in the moment and trying to get away from those negative looping thoughts. Like you really have to be your own internal coach on this one. And if you wanted to do more of a romantic side, and I'm probably diving into an area that might be delicate for some people, because the second you think about that person, the pain starts to shift in your heart. But if we think about it from the twin flame aspect of us being one soul split into 2, you doing the inner work for you is also doing the inner work for them. Well, I don't want to do the inner work for them. Well, I don't want to go on this journey for years and years and years and years. At some point, we have to set down our ego on this one and make peace with the fact that you are coaching yourself and them, even though you may not be talking to them in any way, to help facilitate this beautiful shift in your own energy. And at the very least, if you don't want to think about them in that aspect, then just do it for you. Okay? Stop with the abuse that goes on up here. Sit down with yourself, shut those eyes, deep breaths. Meditation has been such a great key. Another key when I get in those moments when I'm thinking about her is surrendering to those thoughts. Well, what does that look like? All I'm doing, just kind of bowing my head down, putting my hands in a praying position, and just over and over, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And for some strange reason, the thoughts just dissipate into the wind. Now, I had to do that an awful lot, and at times I may have looked like a weirdo because I'll do it out in public now, and I don't care. Judge me. Nobody knows what I'm going through. Nobody knows what you're going through. They can sit in judgment all they want, but this journey isn't about anybody else but you, and that's the reality and the mindset shift we have to get on when we're coaching. So I had just wanted to connect with that and just see the beautiful metaphor with coaching these kids. And my treating of them is a reflection of how I'm treating myself now. That kindness, the compassion, being empathetic, and for the most part, I'm starting to think that and believe that us divine feminines we're those empathic people. We are those people that would rather give than to take or receive. Humbly give our joy, our energy, our teachings to other people out there. But at the same time, you guys, that empathy, that compassion, that joy, you've got to bring it back within and look at that person in the mirror every single time and elevate yourself, just like you would want to help elevate somebody else. Even 5th grade kids. Look for those signs and synchronicities, because if my angels are out there doing the work for me to bring things onto my path, we've got to be open to accepting them. And some of us might not be in a state of mind where we can, get out of bed or get off the floor from crying or things like that, but at some point we have to get up. Your inner coach has to step up and say, all right, enough. You've been sad long enough. You've been hurting yourself long enough. You've been abusing yourself long enough. Take what you can, extract the smallest amount of energy you might have left, and please just get up and go look in the mirror. Look at yourself and let yourself know that you're enough. You love you. I got you. I'm here to protect you. We're going to do this. And it's going to feel daunting as hell out of the gate. But you keep doing that every day, a little bit here and there, man, those little bits add up to an awful lot. Because the alternative is this, and this is a real conversation right here. You keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. And I don't want you guys to suffer. I've been through this suffering. It's terrible. It's a hell of a way to go through life. And people have talked about going through this for years, and you know what? I don't know what my timeline is on this, but I know one thing. I know what my timeline is for me. And the pain and the suffering, while it's still going to be present in some aspect, I'm learning I've got a little bit more control over it than I ever thought. So, be your coach, be your guide, ask for help, watch videos like these, anything that inspires you to get up, find that creative side of yours, to find that inner joy, to find that inner compassion, and just be a brand new you. Because quite frankly, what other choice do we have at this point in time? Enough suffering. All right? I love you guys. This is Kevin, Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. Until the next time.